Hey there guys, this is Sam
And Justin.
at the Survival Review, and today we are going to be talking about episode 18, the final episode of The Return to Twin Peaks.
Yes, the season finale. It's finally here.
And man, it was a trip.
Yeah.
It, like we said, did not go where we expected at all.
No.
Not even remotely. That's the territory of Twin Peaks and David Lynch's content in general.
Yeah,
It was a good episode.
Yeah.
But it definitely leaves you like,
this
is there going to be a season 4?
Just saying that this is our initial reactions after just watching this episode, just getting done watching it. So we're still kind of having it sink in.
Yeah.
Because my opinion on this episode is still kind of it's positive. I liked it, but I don't know if it's kind of a bit of a mixed reaction or not.
It's almost a little bittersweet because you deep down you want more closure.
Yeah.
And that's not what you get from this episode.
No.
And even if they don't do a season 4, I still think I'll be okay. I still enjoyed it, but definitely the way this leaves off.
Yeah.
You're
I needed to sink in a little bit more. It starts out just right off the bat with a shot of Doppel Cooper in the Black Lodge on fire.
It's just immediately he's on fire in the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, I was looking away from the TV for a second there during the end of the credits, and all of a sudden I just hear and you look up like Jesus.
God.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hold back. It really just lets loose right from the start.
And in the scene, Doppel Cooper gets turned into a marble or a seed, and when our man sets the piece of hair that Doppel Cooper pulled out a couple episodes back, he kind of combines it with the seed and says electricity, and it turns into what we think is Cooper. That's what it looks like. But you can tell by the way he acts, he's a bit more kind of bubbly, and he's like, where am I?
He's a bit of a Dougie.
Yeah.
And it pretty much what we expected to happen from the hair happened. He made a new Dougie, and Dougie goes to Jane E. and Sonny Jim.
Yeah.
And he's like, home.
Yeah,
they both run up and hug him, and
it was wonderful.
It's a really sweet moment, and it's nice that got closed up and resolved. It's a sweet, sweet story, everything with Jane E. and Dougie. I love all of that.
That was great. Great closure to that, just perfect. So that's the last scene that makes sense in this episode.
Well, I mean, they make sense. It's not complete absurdism.
No.
It's just it's I don't even know the word to describe it. We sort of continue off of the scene with Coop and Laura Palmer in the woods where we were last episode. It sort of just replays that scene. She disappears, and then Coop appears in the Black Lodge.
Yes.
And he's sitting there, and he sees the one-armed man, and he says, is it the future or is it the past?
Yes, and that's a major theme with this episode.
Yes, because we are questioning that for a little bit.
Because after that bit, they go walk away and talk to the evolution of the arm. And he says something like, is it the girl from the house down the lane?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, something with Laura Palmer here, kind of weird. At first, this opening stuff, I just thought this was going to be like the season finale of season 2. That last act just spread across an hour-long episode, because that's what it felt like. You had Cooper go walking into other rooms and things being all weird. You get to see the Laura Palmer scene again from the first episode where she's whispering something in his ear. Yeah. And you get to see a bit more of that. And then he walks into another room and sees Leland Palmer.
Yes, it's great to see him again. Yes. I love Ray Wise.
Oh yeah, he just says, find Laura.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal of the episode.
Yes.
Is to find Laura. Because as we sort of saw in the last episode, now she, I guess, we're in an alternate timeline, I suppose? Maybe. Mm-hmm.
Or just another, I don't know.
But the way I took it, we're in some sort of alternate timeline where Laura Palmer did not die.
Yeah.
But it doesn't exactly continue from that branching pathway.
No, with the way the last episode ended, I'm like, okay, we're going to continue into that, maybe see, the alternate reality, how we saw, Pete, fishing and stuff, we're going to continue off of that, but it doesn't. It just goes in a totally different direction.
Yeah.
Because you see Cooper exiting the lodge.
Yeah, and waiting for him outside of the lodge is Diane.
The real Diane, you can tell by the red hair. Mm-hmm. And she, they walk up to each other, and she just goes, do you really want to do this? And he goes, yes, and it cuts to them driving, and they're, in the middle, it looks like in the middle of the desert, of where Dalbel Cooper was driving in the second or third episode.
They're talking about, do we really want to do this, or are you sure we should go? And he's like, yes, we need to. I have a feeling.
Yeah, they drive exactly 430 miles.
Which was a number, I forget where it was shown earlier. This year. I do distinctly remember the number 430.
Yes.
So he reaches exactly 430 miles, and he says, kiss me, because when we go through, things might not be the same. Which turns out to be true, because they kiss, and then they drive further and appear on the other side of something. They travel somewhere else, because now it's nighttime, and things are different. Not only in the environment, but also in kind of the way they're acting.
Yeah. Because they pull up to this motel, this kind of small little motel, and Cooper goes out to get a room, and you see Diane sitting there, and she turns to the side and she sees another Diane standing across from her. Just kind of weird. And then Cooper comes out, he has the keys. They go into the room, and Cooper seems to be acting just a little bit off.
Yeah, he's acting almost like Doppel Cooper, but not quite. He's not as
cold-hearted.
Yeah.
But he walks into the room, he walks to the end of the bed, and he's just like, come over here. And she walks over, they start making out, and then we cut to the most weirdest, awkward sex scene ever.
Yeah, set to My Prayer, whatever that song's called. And I just said, this is getting a little Blue Velvety for me. This is going, the juxtaposition from the happy sort of 50s song, whatever it is, and just I don't know, they're both uncomfortable.
Yeah, or even compared to the sex scene earlier in the season with Dougie and JDE.
Neither of them are getting any sort of pleasure from it. She's covering his face.
Yeah, Coop has this dead face, the face that Dalbel Cooper has throughout the entire show. Just this emotionless face.
There's no love. It's just bleh.
To the point where she even starts crying near the end of it. And it's just you're just watching the scene, you're just I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this is happening. This is just not right.
It's what we're meant to feel.
Yeah.
But it's a weird list.
Yes. And then it cuts to the morning. And Coop wakes up. Diana's gone. He's calling for her, but she's not there. He looks over and finds a note on the table next to him.
Yeah, which we assume is from Diane, but the names in it are not Diane or Cooper.
It's to Richard.
To Richard from Linda.
Yes. Those are people who still don't know who they are.
We've heard the names earlier in the season.
In the first episode, when the giant tells Cooper about Richard and Linda and how they're important.
Yeah.
Well, that comes back into play here, but still not really expanded upon enough.
Yeah, so we're not really sure if in whatever place they are now, they're Richard and Linda.
Yeah.
Or that's their
alternate versions of them or something?
Because there seem to be alternate versions of other people in this place as well, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, because he gets out of the motel and it's not the same place.
Because when it first started, it was just a one floor, little tiny strip motel.
Yeah.
And then when he gets out, there are multiple floors, and it's like a different time period. It looks like when they got in there, they were in the 50s or 60s.
Yes, because they drove in on a 50s kind of era car.
Yeah. And when he gets out, it's more like modern day, and he's driving a modern day car. So something switched there. Something happened.
Yeah, so he drives off, and as he's driving, he passes by this diner that's called Judy's Coffee Shop, and it catches Coop's attention. So he pulls in, goes in, has a seat. The waitress comes over, pours him coffee. Again, very cold and emotionless.
Yeah.
She pours coffee and he's not even excited about it. She asks, "Do you want coffee?" And he just goes
he just kind of looks at his cup and is just pour it.
Yeah, basically.
And it's very not Cooper.
No.
Something's very different about him.
No, and then he asks, "Is there another waitress that works here?" And the girl goes, "Yeah, but today's her day off. And she's been off for the past 3 days."
Yeah.
And walks away, and as she's attending this other table, these 3 kind of cowboy type guys there. One of them starts feeling around her and stuff like that. She's like, "Stop it" and everything. And Coop just yells at him "Stop that.
Leave her alone."
Yeah.
And so we know it's not a Doppel Cooper situation because he would never do a thing like that.
No.
But he's also not acting fully like Cooper. So his personality's changed just ever so slightly to make him a little bit off.
That's another day when screwing with us that we finally got Cooper back.
Yeah, finally got Cooper back.
Yeah, we don't have him.
Not really.
No.
But basically these 3 Texans come over in their cowboy hats, And they're like, the fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm just telling you to leave her alone. Pulls a gun on him. Of course, Cooper fucking just smashes the gun on the table, kicks the guy in the dick, and like knocks him to the ground. Shoots another one in the foot.
Then Cooper gets up, like, still pointing the gun, like, in a menacing way. Walks over to the other waitress and goes, like, go write down the address. He's like, what? He's like, write down the address for the other waitress. As he's doing this, he puts the guns in the fryer for the fries and stuff like that. Yeah. Again, very, like, sinister. And even though he's like, I'm part of the FBI, it's not like a Cooper, like, happy type of thing. It's, like, just dark and weird.
Dark and uncomfortable.
Very much so.
And so he gets the address for where this woman lives.
Yes.
And he drives over there. And we were both kind of, like, taking bets on who was going to be in there.
Yeah.
And I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, I think it's going to be Laura.
Yeah.
And opens up the door, and it's Laura.
And so it's clearly an aware Coop, because when he sees her, his first thing he says is, Laura? Like, you're Laura Palmer. She's like, no, I'm Carrie Page.
Yeah. And we're like, who the hell is
Who the hell is that?
We don't know this person.
Yeah, and she's just like, but your father's name is Wayland.
She goes, okay?
Yeah.
When she said that, it's kind of left, like, is she saying okay, like, yeah, that is my dad's name, how'd you know that? Or if she's saying okay, like,
sure,
weirdo, yeah, that's not my dad's name, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and then he goes, your mom's name is Sarah.
And then she has a reaction to it. Like that, she goes, did you say Sarah?
Yeah.
And she gets, like, this feeling of sadness, it looks like.
Yeah.
And
then she's just like, you know what, I've been wanting to leave anyway. And she's like, I'll go with you. Yeah. Wherever. Where are you going to? He's like, Twin Peaks, Washington. He's like, D.C.? No, Washington State. He's like, are you sure? What the hell?
We'll drive all the way from Texas, no big deal.
Yeah, she's like, I want to leave town.
Clearly she needs to leave town because there's a dead body in her house.
Yeah, she goes, come on in while I pack. And, Coop just walks in, turns over, and there's a dead body lying
blood splattered on the wall behind him. And Coop was just like, huh?
Okay.
All right.
And then he turns, and on the mantle is a little horse.
Yeah, and
so
it's the horse from
the very reminiscent of the horse that Sarah Palmer sees.
Yeah.
She packs her bags. They leave. They're off. They're driving away. And it cuts to them, like, at night, driving. And there's this just car headlights behind them. It's the shot of Cooper that we saw in one of the trailers that they released a while ago.
Yeah, way before the show was even on.
We're actually seeing all those shots of Cooper from the trailer now.
And they're kind of paranoid that somebody's following them. And it turns out, not really.
Not really. Car just passes them up and keeps on driving.
But it kind of, even we're thinking, yeah, they're definitely following them.
Yeah.
We're paranoid along with them.
Yeah. And then we get this kind of long scene with them just driving on their way, talking a bit, even stopping to get gas, until finally
they end up getting to Twin Peaks and driving up to Laura Palmer's house.
Yes.
And they walk up to the door and we're like, is it going to be Sarah Palmer?
Like, some crazy shit's probably going to happen, right? Since it's pretty been kind of like a mundane type of episode. Stuff's going to go nuts and the door opens and it's just another lady.
Just some lady.
Yeah.
Some random lady.
And Coops is like, I don't know, I'm here to see Sarah Palmer. And he's like, Sarah Palmer's not here.
There's no Sarah Palmer here.
Yeah. And he's just like,
do you know her? No.
No. He's like, who'd you buy this house from? He's like, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so.
Yeah.
Who'd they buy the house from?
We don't know.
The best part, you predicted that line.
Yeah, I jokingly said that line and then he said it. I'm like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And they're like, no, we have no idea who you're talking about. And Coop is just like, all right, well, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Sorry about all this. Sorry to bother you at such a late hour.
Except the thing about this conversation is, and kind of the whole episode in general with all these interactions with all these people, is everything is very stiff and very mechanical almost. Like it isn't real. Like it's some kind of a dream or some kind of a like a manufactured place.
Yeah.
Almost.
Because the lady at the door, she didn't really seem like she was talking normally.
No. Just a very stiff delivery and not like a bad performance. It's intentionally
it feels intentional.
Like something's in everybody.
Yeah, and I feel like just the way she was like calmly just like, turning to her husband just like, oh, who owned the house before, who did we buy the house from? And you hear a voice up just kind of mumble. And he goes, oh, who bought the house before them? And like they all just seem very just calm.
Calm,
just
but like emotionless.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Not at all curious as to why an FBI agent is trying to talk to them like at such a late hour.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, that's okay. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like something just seems very off
Yeah.
about all this.
And so they start walking away from the house.
Yeah.
And you don't really know where they're going to go.
No, they're just
They
kind of standing there, like Carrie or Laura, whoever she is. She's just kind of sitting there, kind of looking at Coop, kind of like a little, not like weirded out, like, okay, this whole thing fell through. You're probably just a crazy person. She's just like, I don't know, there's something to this. She keeps looking at the house.
The whole time, she doesn't say anything while they're having this conversation with the woman in the house, but she has like this wide-eyed look on her eyes.
Yeah.
Like she's kind of sort of piecing things together, sort of maybe remembering things. It's hard to tell, but it's easier to tell once you get to the very end.
Yeah.
When they're both kind of looking back at the house, Cooper's like looking at the ground, he's looking at things. He says, "What year is this?"
Yes.
Which is kind of a question that's been on my mind this whole time.
Yeah.
What year is this? And right after he says this, something snaps in her brain, and it's like she realized who she really is, and that she's not Carrie. She's Laura Palmer,
Yeah.
and she screams like that trademark
Yeah.
Cheryl Lee scream.
And then all the lights in the Palmer house go off.
Everything goes dark.
Yes. And we're just sitting there like, okay, what's gonna happen
What's gonna
now?
happen next?
And then it fades into the shot of Laura, whispering into Coop's ear. We're like, all right,
Are we gonna hear what's happening?
What's going on here? And then
Starring Kyle MacLachlan.
Ah.
And I.
like,
It's not like I don't know what to think of it.
no, yeah,
'Cause
I don't know either.
I like to imagine what happened and what goes on from there, but it's also like, are they going to continue off of
Yeah.
this? Is there going to be another season? Is there going to be any more closure?
Yeah, because we always had the idea that it always was like advertised as like a special event and everything. We always thought it was going to at least end with some sort of closure. Not everything answered, like in typical Twin Peaks fashion. We know everything wasn't going to be answered and tied up in a neat bow. But we thought there was going to be at least some closure to where this could possibly be the final season, if like that's what they were intending to. But it's weird because it's kind of not that, but it's also not an outright cliffhanger for the season.
There's still things that could definitely be tied up.
Yeah.
But if they were to end it here, they potentially could.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff like,
and I wouldn't hate it, but I definitely would not be opposed to a fourth season after this.
No. In fact, this actually makes me a bit more open to a fourth season.
Because the whole time I've been watching this Twin Peaks: The Return season, I've been thinking, I am perfectly fine if this is the last season.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, like this is not saying we'd never want more Twin Peaks. Like, we did not want more Twin Peaks.
It's
but
just like sometimes things go on for too long.
Yeah.
Things drag on a bit.
Yeah, and this just felt like
I'm okay with just one contained ending season.
Yeah, and this just felt like its own kind of like cool story.
Yeah.
Its own like special story. It didn't really feel like a season 3 continuing the adventures. It kind of felt like its own kind of interesting story. And then also dealing with the fact that with the loss of some of these actors since then, since filming, the Log Lady, which I guess that played into the show, so that's okay.
But then Rosenfield. Is a really key character.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites. So it's really tough for me to say I'm really looking forward to a season 4 when they're gonna have to jump through hoops to kind of like get around that he's not around anymore.
Yeah, but like with the way this ends, there's a lot of unanswered things in there. Not just from this episode, but from like the season in general. Like how episode 16 ended with that scene with Audrey. And you're like, what's that? We didn't get any of that. So I just feel like there's a bunch of stuff that still needs to be kind of not even necessarily tied up, but just continued and explored more.
There are things that, especially the stuff with Audrey, because that was a cliffhanger for me.
Yeah, that was a legit cliffhanger.
I'd really like to see where that goes.
Yeah.
So I genuinely hope they do a season 4 at this point. I want to see more.
Yeah.
I was saying. This whole week leading up to these 2 episodes, I just kept saying every time somebody brought it up, I just said, I don't want it to end.
No, me neither.
I love it too much. I love getting together and watching it all the time.
Yeah. And this episode was it was so different than what we expected from the finale.
Which is fine. I love that David Lynch doesn't do what I expect.
Yeah.
I'd so much rather have something where I'm like, something where you actually have to think about how
Yeah.
you feel about it.
Yeah.
Rather than just, oh,
And
that was good.
And that's
thumbs up.
why, since we just saw it, like, I'm not saying I don't like this episode, but I don't know if I exactly love this episode compared to other episodes this season.
It's something that you really have to think about.
I feel like over time I might come to love it, but right now I'm still kind of like it was a little confusing at times how I just kept cutting them in places. Like when, Coop left the lodge, like, oh, that's like the forest in Twin Peaks, right? And all of a sudden they're in like the desert, and like, okay. Like, oh, they're in Texas or whatever. It's like, oh, okay. Why is Diane there when he walks out to begin with? Like, wasn't she kind of in the lodge? Like, I don't exactly know. How did he go back into the lodge after after Laura disappeared? Like, there's a lot of things that are kind of confusing. But so, like, it wasn't the perfect episode, I would say. But definitely, like, a really intriguing one that just, kept my interest till the very end.
For sure. And definitely one that, if they continue off of it, is a really good jumping off point. I think they'll have a lot of stuff to go off in another season if they do that.
Yeah. So that's the finale.
Yeah, that's
the ending of The Return of Twin Peaks, season 3.
That's the end. I won't say it's the last video that we'll do, because we actually do want to do one video kind of encompassing what we feel about the whole season entirely.
Just going through everything we thought about the season in general without having to spend the entire video recapping an episode.
Yeah, just give our full opinions now that we can actually think about the whole thing as one whole piece.
Yeah, and just discuss some more theories and what we expect to see if they do a season 4, and what we hope to see if that continues on.
Yeah. So, until then,
we
will see you guys later.